Hare Krishna. So I'm back for the second time today. So what happened is I was recording and I finished the chapter and discovered that the telephone had run out of batteries. So this is what happens when you're on your own recording, trying to do a service. Sometimes you mess up, so all the nice things that I'd read and said, they went out the window. So we'll start again. Let's pay our obeisances. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Vachkap Chubisak, Zinavya Vichapatnam, Padevya Vaishnavepyo, Namo Namaha. So we were up to text 9. We're on text 9, I believe, when it ran out. And I was speaking about the different islands. And this is the end of Vyasadev's teachings in this matter. There'll just be a few more slokas in this point, and then I think we'll hear a little more from Vyasadeva in a minute, after we hear from Shaunaka Rishi. So Vyasadeva mentioned that one who desires victory over an enemy should worship the demons, and one who desires sense gratification should worship the moon. So the moon is considered the highest place for sense gratification, and people who like to enjoy heavenly pleasures and drink soma rasa, that means the enjoyments of material comforts, they get to go to the moon after they've done something worthwhile. So be careful if you're a devotee and you're chanting in the Mishra category, and you're liking your material work and you're liking material comforts, because there is pious credits offered for one who's chanting. And of course, chanting can destroy your pious credits, but let's assume that you're chanting with a material outlook and you're not letting go. Then at that point, maybe you'll get a material reward and you'll go to the heavenly moon planet to continue your sense gratification in association with good people, and then maybe you'll get another chance to be a devotee later on. But let's just skip that chance, and let's say we have the chance now. So drop the full sense gratification part and engage in little more austerities, and then you'll be on the right track. Vyasadeva continues. This is the very important part that Vyasadeva says. But one who desires nothing of material enjoyment should worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is Vyasadev's instructions as a summary of all of Sukadeva Goswami's teachings. That was the end of text 9. Text 10 mentions a person who has broader intelligence, whether he be full of all material desire, without any material desire, or desiring liberation, must by all means worship the Supreme Whole, the personality of Godhead. So this is a very liberal statement here. Vyasadeva mentions one who has broader intelligence, whether he be full of all material desire, without material desire, or desiring liberation. So this person with broader intelligence, that means one whose intelligence can take in the personality of Godhead, not just one who has material intelligence. So even if such a person is full of material desire, he should still worship the Lord. If he has no material desires, like Sukadeva Goswami, he was a Mayavad who was fulfilled, self-satisfied, Atmarama. Like the Atmarama verse that Lord Chaitanya explained in, was it 52 different ways? Anyways, 50 something different ways to Sanatan Goswami. So if you have no material desire, if you're full of material desire, or if you desire liberation, you just want to get free from this material bondage, incarceration, so many miseries here, which we all know about, must by all means worship the Supreme Whole, the personality of Godhead. So the Lord is everything, whether you worship the Lord as the Mahatattva, the Brahman conception of everything, full in knowledge, whether you worship the Lord from the path of Karmakanda and you're full in perfect life, so to speak, and you're trying to get to the Lord that way, or you're worshipping the Lord as Bhagavan iti Sb2. So it's up to you. But the way is not to forget the Lord, but by all means to remember the Lord. Text 11. All the different kinds of worshippers of multi-demigods can attain the highest perfection of benediction, which is, here it is, spontaneous attraction unflinchingly fixed upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead. How do you attain this? Only by the association of the pure devotee of the Lord. So this is a further embellishment on the teaching that if you worship any aspect of the Lord in the form of demigods, as previously mentioned, you worship Indra, you worship Rudradev, you worship the demons, you worship Mother Durga, you worship Lord Brahma, you worship the Ashwini Kumaras, or all these different aspects that Vyasadeva has mentioned. Whatever you worship, you can attain the highest perfection of your prayers, worship, only by the association of pure devotees. So it's nice to understand that the association of pure devotees must be sought. Pure devotees may be on different levels in order to facilitate people to be able to get along with them. For example, we have Subhag Swami, who's very pure devotee, and Subhag Maharaj mentions that, devotees shouldn't take ice cream and pizza. I'm not saying he directly mentioned it, I'm saying this concept. And some devotees may not be able to handle that kind of teaching, that kind of purity by a pure Vaishnava. So they may not take too kindly. So then you may have another sannyasi, which there's no need to mention any names, but they may allow this kind of thing. And these people, they can still be classed as pure devotees because they're still preaching the pure message of the Lord. They're still moving forwards with their own Krishna consciousness while helping others. And there's all levels for all people. But the most important part to take about this is the association of the pure devotee of the Lord. And you just keep moving higher and higher in your own devotion, and then you will come across the right person for you. Text 12. Transcendental knowledge in relation with the Supreme Lord Hari is knowledge resulting in the complete suspension of the waves and whirlpools of material nature, of the material modes. Such knowledge is self-satisfying due to its being free from material attachment, and being transcendental, it is approved by authorities. Who could fail to be attracted? So I remember reading this previously, a few hours ago, before my camera went off, and I gave a talk prior to this, and then I remember saying, yes, so here, Vyasadev's saying the same thing. He was, and now I don't know what I said. Now it's totally different. When you come to something a second time, well, you come with a different frame of mind. I've just had something to eat, so then there's a lot more materialism in the mind. And previously I'd gone through a long time of the slokas, and so I was more immersed. So I apologize if I've missed something, but you can get Vyasadev's words, which are perfect. I'll read them again. Transcendental knowledge in relation with the Supreme Lord Hari is knowledge resulting in the complete suspension of the waves and whirlpools of the material modes. So as I mentioned, this is the culmination of Vyasadev's purports here, which is directly the same as Sukadeva Goswami's. Sukadeva Goswami mentioned to focus the mind on Lord Krishna, on the Super Soul in the heart, on the Virat Rupa, on the Mahat Tattva, on the yogi expansion in the heart. Just fix your mind on Lord Krishna in one way or another, on the Supreme Lord. And this is also mentioning the same thing, that when you receive this Vaikarika, supreme transcendental knowledge in your ears, and you take it into your heart and you start meditating on the Lord, it actually causes the revolution in the heart that we're after within this chapter title, shall we say, and the previous chapter title also. So such knowledge, this is Vyasadev's text 12, such knowledge is self-satisfying due to its being free from material attachment. That's transcendental knowledge. You're satisfied. You satisfy the self and yourself. Even as a conditioned soul, you're still satisfied by hearing it. What to speak of a liberated spirit soul. And being transcendental, it is approved by all authorities. So herein, some people may have contention with some of the words I speak here and there. And one thing they can't have contention with is that Vyasadev's words that I'm reading are transcendental. Sukadev's words I'm reading are transcendental. So they are approved by authorities. By the authorities on religion who speak only of transcendental subject matters. This is the important part. We don't need to please everyone, but we do need to please the Lord and the Lord's representatives. One very nice line at the end of this, it's a rhetorical question that says, who could fail to be attracted? So that's a very nice way to end these teachings by Vyasadeva, with a little bit of humor. Who could fail to be attracted to these? Only the butcher, the man who is destroying his own life, the animal, the person in animal consciousness. Any man with what's called a broader intelligence, they can be self-satisfied by hearing the pastimes of Lord Krishna, by hearing spiritual knowledge. At the moment we're receiving Sambandha Gyan, and along the way we should be meditating. So Vyasadev's giving these nice teachings so we can go in the heart and we can meditate on the four forms of Shabda Brahman, and we can then suspend the waves and whirlpools of material nature. So that's it from Vyasadeva, such wonderful teachings. Now we're going to hear text 13 from Shaunaka Rishi. But before we hear from Shaunaka, let's mention that when a person writes a book, say a person writes a novel or something, then he writes as the first person, the second person, the third person, in the fourth person's voice or whatever. But how many voices are we hearing here from Vyasadeva? And this is actually Vyasadev's magic. It's his genius that we're able to not be bored with our reading. We can hear Srimad Bhagavatam, and I have heard it thousands and thousands and thousands of times over, and you just don't get bored with it. It's so sublime. And of course the information is spiritual, so that's not boring. However, the way he writes it, like for instance now we're hearing from Vyasadeva, And we're going to hear from Shaunaka Rishi. Previously, we heard from Sukadev, and then we had questions from Arish Prikshit, and then we heard from Sutta Goswami's perspective, and we'll hear again from Sutta Goswami's. But ask yourself this question: are we really hearing from Sutta Goswami?